up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener.
Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, though, people? It is Wake Up Woodward, and we're back in the studio, man. It's your boy, Brandon Dan, Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, vet of the network, vet of the squad, man. You know what? He risked getting kicked out of the Detroit Golf Club, the Feldman Children's Miracle Celebrity Invitational yesterday, to wear the Riley Green jersey on the show, to be a man of his word. What up, though, Flannel Sam?
Yes, they almost kicked me out, but then I had to tell them who I am, had to wave the big stick. No, but seriously, I had a nice polo on under the Riley Green jersey yesterday, but a deal's a deal, a bet's a bet, and twist my arm. I got to wear a Riley Green jersey again. Darn.
And to be fair,
no.
They didn't recognize him until White Claw Flannel arrived.
Yeah.
No. But, we got a good show for you guys, and I'm pretty happy about this one because TLB right out the gate. Right out the gate, man. You want to tell the people what that is?
Talk Lions, biatch.
Word to our brother Matthew Broder. And I guess just let them know what's on the docket.
Hey, yes, we are pretty much getting right into it from the jump. We're going to discuss Woodward Sports put out a graphic, which Lion has the most to prove in the 2025 season. We're going to talk about, because we have to, Jaire Alexander was released by the Green Bay Packers. Is that something that the Lions should consider? We'll see. We'll see what I think, what everybody else thinks. And also today, after we TLB for a little bit, we want to get you guys involved. We are opening up the phone lines. We will tell you when we are doing it. If you want to start flooding the line now, go ahead. But in theory, give Chase a break. Wait until at least 8:30, but we will be opening up the phone line. So if you have anything to say, if you want to answer some of the questions that we have posed to you guys, 313-552-6322.
Hey, and shout out to Kavasi Chase. He's been doing a good job getting acclimated to more and more here, and not just singular jobs, but even at times doing multiple things at once from that sound booth. So shout out to Kavasi Chase, and then even remote. You're capturing fast, and I guess is very, very reticent of what you cover here too, as it relates to all of the stuff with Fast and Loose. Shout out to you and what you guys did at MIS and Grand Prix back-to-back weekends. So shout out to you too, JB Smooth. I got a lead booth here today. That is Kavasi Chase and Sound Booth. Woodward Sports MVP JB Smooth in the TD booth. And we do have intern Ryan in the building, and that dude Justin is somewhere. But you pose a very good question here, Flannel Sam, and chat family. You guys have to answer it too. You gotta help us figure this out. Which Lions player has the most to prove this season? And instantly, I started thinking, you know what? There was one player that instantly flashed across my mind, but you guys already know a way to Detroit Kool-Aid's heart is through the linebacker.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, it's got to be Jack Campbell. I thought that Jack Campbell did well last year. Did well. But we're talking about looking at the noise surrounding Alexander, looking at the fact that they didn't really do a whole lot to beef that up, that linebacker core. They brought some pieces back to just say, hey, let's run this back. And we know this. When they did that the last time, it was Dan Campbell and Co. saying, that's our green dot. Not that he played bad. He played good. I was happy with the steps that he took. But what I'm hoping to see this year is that next step to where people are saying, you know what, more than this guy being somebody who can, when he's getting a hit, it's effective. He's understanding how to run down and stop, play within the run. He's understanding and getting a little bit better with the coverage. I thought he took a nice leap forward this season. But I want to see him be that guy who the analysts were gushing over when Alexander came back. That's what I want to see out of Jack Campbell, is that evolution, that next step at being that green dot linebacker, at being effectively that leader or that captain on defense that we've heard Dan Campbell Aaron Glenn and Calvin Shepard all say that Alex Anzalone is. And I think he can get there. I really do.
Ooh, Jack Campbell is an interesting one. And before I give my answer, you might as well call me Chris Paul, because I'm about to play point guard for just a little bit. JB Smoove, I'm going to pose this question to you.
What's up?
Which Detroit Lions player has the most to prove this season?
I'm going to have to piggyback off of Kool-Aid's answer as well, too. I think it's Jack Campbell, especially given the fact that Malcolm Rodriguez is obviously injured right now. And Alex Anzalone, from what we were talking about last week, he's propping himself up and he's promoting himself a little bit more, which honestly you should be doing. Go and get your bag, which he is trying to do, and hopefully the Lions do decide to re-sign and extend him a little bit more. But I think it's definitely Jack Campbell. If you're looking at a guy to step up in that linebacker room after these previous season, it has to be this guy. So give me Jack Campbell.
Ooh, a 2 for Jack Campbell already. Chase, which Detroit Lions player has the most to prove this season?
Part of me wants to say Aiden Hutchinson, but not like anything he has to prove to the fans. It just seems like a few people, and it's been growing a lot lately, are kind of questioning his effectiveness when he comes back. So I feel like maybe just like proving like doubters wrong, I want to say. But I feel like that might not sound quite right answering the question, but that's kind of where I'm leaning. I feel like he's more or less like trying to prove doubters wrong, not necessarily like proving that he I guess I don't know. I might not be saying it the right way, but
I know what you mean, because there's still some people that question, he's coming back from an injury. I still see people in this chat to this day think that they should sit him for the first few weeks of the season. I think that that's insane, but hey, I think some people misunderstand that even though it looked gruesome, even though a broken leg is obviously a terrible injury, what happened to Aleem and what happened to Malcolm was actually worse, even though it didn't have that moment where it's like, oh my God, Hutch's leg exploded. An ACL is worse. So I understand what you're saying, Chase. It's like
Hutch has been out. He's
Yeah.
he's been out for a
Yeah.
while, and I get the mindset that you're speaking to.
yeah, we just haven't seen him in so long. Like all we've seen from him is recovering and rehabbing. I think like seeing him on the football field and like once he gets those first 2 sacks on the season, I feel like that's going to be like when he really proves to everybody like I've shed the label of this injury and like these question marks that you have. That's I guess that's kind of where I'm saying.
And we know Dr. Pierce, who's worked with pro athletes before, he also talked about that type of stuff too. The mental aspect. He said is Hutch back from a physical standpoint. He said that Hutch is actually ahead of schedule with some of the things that he's seen, but he believes that the last hurdle, like you said, is the mental one. He said he's cleared the first part of that, but the second part is, you're right, the game action. And I get that because we see how tough he's working, but I second that. When you step out onto that field, it's a little bit different. And I like the way you put that, man, when he gets 2 sacks, man.
Yeah.
Almost as if to push himself that much more. But that's what Aiden Hutchinson is. He pushes himself. And it's weird because the 2 players we've talked about, in Jack Campbell now and in Aiden Hutchinson, I can understand your thought process, and I do believe both of those guys are primed to effectively come through on this.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand what you guys are saying with Jack Campbell. I think from a performance standpoint, definitely, but I think from like a health and just like mental,
you're
just like mental fortitude aspect, I think like Aiden Hutchinson's like trying to prove something else, maybe to himself even.
That's an interesting angle. I don't hate that, and I don't even really think it's your. I don't think he has anything to prove to you. You're just going at it from the angle of this: is he going to come back? Fine. Fans have a certain view.
Where you would probably tend to exit stage left if they were like, he gets pressure. Sure, he got off to a good start last year, but he still has to prove it over a full season.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where I understand it. And that's why I'm glad the way he explained it.
Yes.
Because I get that.
Because believe it or not, he did prove it over a full season in 2023, and he had a couple in the playoffs
he still had
as
haters
well.
Going into last season.
I remember.
He still had doubters.
I fought them harder than anybody. But, Justin, which Lion has the most to prove this season to you?
And Christian Mahogany, because they are going to define how good this offensive line really is. They're going to define how successful this offense can be, and they're going to make it all go. We're really going to see how big of an impact Frank Ragnow is going to leave by how well these rookies play and second-year player. And so I just think that they're going to be crucial to the success of this team and how good this offensive line is going to end up being, because you know how good Penei Sewell is. You know how good Taylor Decker is. Graham Glasnow is what he is at this point in his career, and you just don't know what you're going to get out of Mahogany, and you don't know what you're going to get out of Ratledge. So I think that they are going to define the success of this offensive line.
Man, we're going all across the board. I like it, though, because I think there's a lot of answers to this, and I don't think there's really been a bad one up to this point. Ryan, which Detroit Lion has the most to prove this season to you?
I'm not going to go a player. I'm going to go the coordinators, if that's even allowed.
All right.
I don't know if that's allowed in this game. But
It is allowed.
I'm going to go John Morton and Kelvin Shepard. I think those two are the ones that have to improve the most. You just lost two coordinators who are now head coaches, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson was phenomenal for us, and Aaron Glenn was phenomenal for us. And John Morton, I'm going to side more on his side because he's got a Lamborghini of an offense. You got Goff, still a solid offense line. Not great, not as great as it was, but it's still a solid offensive line. You still have Amon-Ra, Sam Laporta, Gibbs, Montgomery. We know how they are. And can you drive it? And that's what we're going to have to see with John Morton. Kelvin Shepard, obviously, he's got a lot of players who will be coming off of injuries and a new corner in DJ Reed. So, and Ennis Rakeshaw might be in there as well. But I'm going to go the coordinators instead of a player.
No, that's
I love
two
everybody's
new
answers today.
Yeah, two new coordinators is not something to sneeze at. So absolutely, I get where you're coming from, Ryan. If there's anybody whose selection maybe I disagreed with the most, it's actually you, Mr. Kool-Aid. I think Jack Campbell did enough last year. I don't think he's got a ton to prove. I think last year was his year to prove from his rookie year, whether or not he was just more of a tackle merchant or whether he was a complete linebacker. I'm not saying that Jack Campbell doesn't have places to grow or things that he can improve on, but I thought Jack Campbell was fine.
And when you say most to prove, I do believe that there's going to be a lot on Jack Campbell, and that's why in my distinction as it related to Chase's as well, I grouped them and I said, you know what, I believe both of these guys are going to be capable to reach the expectations that I do believe they need to prove. I thought that Jack Campbell was really good. I personally was excited for the season he had, though I could see areas where he could definitely take that next step forward. And when you're talking about the future of the Detroit Lions, their ability to retain the guys that we want to see them retain, I do believe a lot relies on Jack Campbell becoming better in coverage. Jack Campbell becoming just a little, you're not going to give him faster feet, but somebody who can become even more instinctual and as high IQ as we've seen Alex Anzalone be. And I thought that in a natural progression of things, because this is where I stopped short, I don't say these things to like as if they're a detraction of, or as if he didn't reach his precipice. I say it as, he took a good step forward in this year, and I expect Jack Campbell to be somebody to take this next step forward to add to his game as a young player who's still progressing. Obviously, when he gets the years under his belt of Alex Anzalone, we're hoping that he's somebody that shows to be much better. A whole lot more expectations in terms of where he was drafted and the belief of the organization. And in exactly what they're doing right now by giving him improving. Even when Alex Anzalone went down, here the responsibility is on you to go out there and be the leader of this defense, especially from that linebacker position. And so that's more or less where it's at. Not that I believe that Jack Campbell left something to be desired over this past season, but that I do believe that there's more for him to go out there and do. Similarly to what people said about, even like the young stars in this team, in this city. Think about how much people are still putting on Riley Green, and he's an all-star already. Think about how much people are already putting on Cade Cunningham. So that's for me. I see Jack Campbell as that dude. I see him as that guy who can go out there and be an all-pro, but he's not there yet. And that's what I'm saying. When you're talking about who has the most approved, for me personally, I believe there's another level for Jack Campbell to get not just a little bit better, but a whole lot better, to be one of those guys when you're talking about linebackers. You are aptly bringing up. Right now, when you talk about the Detroit Lions linebackers, people always say, oh, yeah, he had a good season. But who do people talk about? Alex Anzalone. I think that narrative and that discussion, I think it changes this season.
So I get what you're saying. So you believe that he has the potential to be like a Fred Warner or a Roquan Smith, or to even have a season like what Zach Bond had last year for the Eagles. You think he's got that in him?
Look at the tackles that he's racking up, and that's why I believe this guy is going to have a high impact on the game regardless, every single season. And that's where I believe that there are some opportunities for him to fine-tune his game and really take things to the next level. I don't think that he's a complimentary piece to Alex Anzalone. He's not that anymore. He's not the pup that's learning. This is one in which now it's his room. It's his unit. I still love Alex Anzalone, and that's what I'm saying. And I want to see him be able to take that. And you're right. Get to that next level. Get to that star level. More than serviceable. It's not like I'd be like if he doesn't, like, oh, poor Jack Campbell, man. No, I'm gonna be still like I'm happy with what he's doing right now, because I remember the night that he was drafted. Where were we at? In Royal Oak?
Yeah, we were at Fifth Avenue.
I remember that. I was sitting right next to Terry Foster. I was sitting. It was crazy. D-Mac, me, and T. Foster sitting there, and we were like, hey, we're gonna just trust him, Brad. And Jack Campbell, it just became somebody who I was like, you know what? This is going to be one of those guys that I have fixed my kind of trust in Brad Holmes too, and we put it up on Woodward Sports and everything. So I'm not just talking, I'm not just blowing smoke. This was a real thing for me. And so when I do look at a Jack Campbell, I'm like, get to that star level, just like we talked about. How crazy this time we was like, yo, Cade Cunningham was an All-NBA player. People's like, y'all are like, and so that's what I'm saying. Was Cade already? Oh, but he's already a good player. Sure, he was. He did some decent stuff. And we thought that he had enough to be, it was all-star worthy, they even said. And that's kind of where I'm at with Jack Campbell.
No, and you know what? The fact that you were able to explain it more in depth, I get where you're saying. And there's a couple people in the chat with some super chats who also came through with their suggestions. And Dante151 first with $4.99. So the people who are saying that sit Hutch the first couple of weeks, crack is whack. And those are that doesn't. For the record, I didn't mean to make it seem like it was some sort of majority or anything. It's just a couple of people. And the second part, the person who needs to improve, which that's all right. You can go this angle too, is Goff, who with losing Frank now. And
who?
He said Goff with losing Frank. And I think, and this is actually something that was said on the Lions show with T. Foss, Broder, and Sean Belizean shout out that Jared Goff, he's definitely more equipped to handle pressure from the outside as opposed to pressure from the interior because of his lack of ability to scramble. He's shown some savvy in the pocket, like stepping up and moving around. But in terms of scrambling, no, that's not Jared Goff's game at all. And they're definitely going to need competent center play. They're not going to get Frank Ragnow's center play, but you need competent center play. But what about this one? Based Jaire, $20 super chat as a shout out. I don't even care that you're a Vikings fan. You are the man for
let's get to that merch giveaway.
Yes,
today.
absolutely. Yes, get to that merch giveaway, which, man, do we give merch to a Vikings fan or no?
You know what?
Hey,
if he earns it, epic. He earns it. Maybe we can send him that Detroit sign shirt.
Hey, there you go. Give him some lions. As a Vikings fan, the answer is Dan Campbell. Ooh, we got a Goff and we got a Campbell. Very interesting. Not where I thought people were going, but he's a Vikings fan. Let him explain. Okay. People believe he's a Ben Johnson merchant. He has the pieces. Get it done, or else you're the Lions' Mike Zimmer. Good enough to change the culture, not good enough to win it all. And to be first off, I think there's a 0.00000% chance that Dan Campbell becomes Mike Zimmer. Not saying Mike Zimmer was a terrible coach, but he didn't really do anything to raise the ceiling for the Vikings. They didn't do anything of significance under him. But at the end of the day, if the Lions do take a step back and, I don't know, even go, let's just say the Lions, and I don't want to throw this out there, even go 11-6 and miss the playoffs. 11-6 and lose in the first round of the playoffs. You might still be hearing some things. I don't think it's going to happen, but yeah, every time a head coach loses his coordinators, there's something to prove. Although I think that we all believe he's up for the challenge.
You know what? There's some names here. How about we take a quick one, come back, and talk about some of these names? Yeah, because some of these are intriguing.
Because I haven't even given my answer yet, and none of you have given the one that I think is the most obvious.
So you give yours, and then we'll be able to kind of talk about several of these. And the people gave the super chats. We can definitely focus in on those topics as well. Because Dan Campbell, from a Vikings fan, that one, listen, man, you got my ears perked up. You definitely. That might find its way onto our social medias today. So, JB Smooth, what friends do we got to say what up, though, to?
Buddies and Mad Pack.
All right, let's rock. Buddies Pizza. created the category for the original Detroit-style pizza and has been serving it since 1946. With 22 locations in Michigan, there's always a Buddy's Pizza near you. Buddy's is a cornerstone of the city of Detroit, being here for 79 years and is a dedicated community partner. With notable partnerships with local organizations like Michigan Humane, Salvation Army, hey, you know one of my favorites? I am a member of the Detroit Zoo and more. Shout out to Cavassier Chase. Save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. That's the number 10MEAL. Go find a location near you at Buddy'sPizza.com.
And Mad Packs.
Hey.
Oh yeah, I thought that was me. Here to talk to you about Mad Packs. Mad Packs is the hottest new cannabis brand, and they're partnering with Woodward Sports. They just launched their new products on May 30th. Available in select dispensaries, High-Low is getting you high for the low, delivering top-tier quality at unbeatable prices. Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka is a live resin-infused tarantula, and this one's the bomb. Blizzard Packs, THCA, moon rocks that hit like a blizzard. Stay tuned with Woodward Sports Network for all of the latest updates.
It's part beauty, part beast. It's for those who dare to be different, for those who want to stand out, and for those who are built for more. The all-new Ineos Grenadier combines strength and style for an unmatched driving experience. Sold exclusively at Feldman Ineos of Waterford.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Hey, guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff, like gimmies on the golf course. We like uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Walk in, sign in, and before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome. Hey, and we are back. It is Wake Up Woodward Chat family. As always, you guys are the most important part of this thing. Go on ahead and smash that like button to support the Woo Crew and Woodward Sports. And you know what? It's always awesome when we do got the chat family in the building. So shout out to Freddie Felt. You guys already know Freddie Felt 313 of you all's awesome chat family is in the building. He's decked out too. He came appropriate, Flannel Sam. He's in a Motor City muscle, literally from head to toe. Like, and this is how he represents. He gets correspondence for us. He's put boots on the ground at what? Michigan football, Michigan basketball, Lions football, Pistons basketball. And you know what? He's always representing well, and some of the content has even gone viral, man. Shout out to you, Freddie. Thank you for being here and for supporting us, man, as always. And you know what? As he is so appropriately dressed and as we got up on the back wall, let's get back into talking some Lions. I do want to make sure we pay some attention to those super chats as well. But Flannel,
Yes.
you haven't told us. You just sitting over there. You haven't told us what your pick is yet.
Oh, yeah.
Can we judge you?
Hey, well, of course you're gonna. Hey, I've never been judged before, ever. No, but yes, I do have a pick, and nobody has chosen it. And Herb Nash, I don't know how you could be so wrong about something. Sam can't say TA as much as he slobbed him last year. Nothing to prove. He was elite, right? Au contraire, mon frere. I had battles with our brother KG, who was actually the one that slobbed TA last year. I sarcastically called him a Terrion Revis or a Darrell Arnold because of how often KG said that Terrion was a fantastic. But to give that away, my answer is Terrion Arnold, who was on the graphic, by the way. TA is the one that has the most to prove. And and here's the thing, and this is where I'm going to go at it from. I thought that last season, it was common knowledge that TA had some struggles. It was common knowledge that he had struggles, but he showed some signs. He definitely improved as the season went along, but we were all operating with the premise that he's going to get better next year. He has to improve. However, I'm seeing a little bit too much chatter on other shows, particularly a Big D Energy 11-1 shout out, in which people like Neil Rule or even Spencer Raxter or even Sean Belegian and Darren McCarty are just like, hey, if TA stays exactly how he was, that's perfectly fine. It was a good draft pick. He's a fine cornerback too. And to that I say, are you effing kidding me? I thought Terrion showed way too many warts in order for him not to improve. I mean, last year, when you look at his numbers, and these are just numbers. If you want to say it lacks context, we can get to that in just a second. In terms of regular season and playoffs, he allowed a 100 passer rating when targeted. He gave up 4 touchdowns. He gave up almost 800 yards on almost 700 coverage snaps for that bit of a context. But absolutely TA has to improve, especially with the plethora of wide receivers that the Lions are going to go up against. I mean, if I'm just thinking off the top of my head, they've got Higgins and Chase from the Bengals. You've got Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, the Rams. Obviously, you've got Addison and Jefferson, or Jefferson and Addison a couple of times. You've got DJ Moore for the Bears. I don't know what Rome Odunze is going to be, and that's just to name a few. There are certainly others. Terrion Arnold has to improve. And I'm not saying that he has to improve into a Pro Bowler. I just think he's got to be better when it comes to coverage. He was, however, good in man coverage, but that's not all being a cornerback is. So to me, Terrion Arnold has a lot to prove, and he has to get better next year in order to even be, in my opinion, a high-level CB2, or at least do it more consistently from start to finish.
Who and what I want to know as well is, which one of these people do you believe, in terms of who we think has the most approved, do you believe, outside of Aiden Hutchinson, obviously?
Yeah.
Do you think that if they don't get there, it's going to be more detrimental to the team? Because I thought about TA, and my reasoning for not saying him was because I thought the secondary is still so healthy. So healthy. And I thought they did well last year. Despite me wanting to see him take a step forward and take that next leap, I was just wondering how much of an impact does that make or not make, or hindering on the Lions if he doesn't reach it compared to some of the other players.
Well, if he doesn't, he might lose his job to Rakestraw.
Jeez.
I mean, or at least lose snaps to Rakestraw. And again, it isn't I'm not saying that he's got to be a Pro Bowler or anything. And I see, and this is the type of people that I'm talking about. Lunchbox, OMG, almost like Sauce Gardner. This motherfucker really put Terrion Arnold and Sauce Gardner in the same sentence. That's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Sauce Gardner was a first-team All-Pro as a rookie. If you want to say that his third year he fell off a bit, fine. But that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. So now he's Terrion Gardner or Sauce Arnold. That's what people actually think about this man. He was okay. He wasn't that good.
What do you think about Hoof, though? He says TA was great for a rookie that was asked to do way more than they actually wanted.
I'm not going to hear great and TA in the same sentence. I don't care about context. If you want to say good or serviceable, yeah, fine. But, all right, I got to be bad guy Sam right now. This idea, shout out Nick Wright,
I see that dude Justin ran up over there.
Yes. This idea that the whole season, from start to finish, oh my God, there were 30 guys on IR every game of the season. That's just not true. I understand Hutch played 5 games, and obviously those 5 games were great. Either Hutch or Z played 13. Carlton Davis, even though he was out for a bunch of games, played 13. Aleem McNeil played 14. Kirby Joseph played 17. Brian Branch played 16. Jack Campbell played 17. Even Alex Anzalone and Malcolm Rodriguez played 10 apiece. Levi O played a full season. DJ Reader played pretty much a full season. It wasn't like Terrion Arnold was just having to cover every receiver. Every week it was Justin Jefferson for 10 seconds on an island.
We do gotta be fair. We do gotta be fair though. Terrion Arnold played the most man coverage snaps among all
I get it,
NFL
and he was
quarterbacks.
good in man coverage, but what about everything else?
He also had the second highest single coverage rate in the NFL, only behind Patrick Surtain. And you know what? We didn't get the doors blown off of our defense this year.
All right.
We didn't. And that was where I was at with Terrion Arnold. Now, I agree with you in this, right, and in this regard. I do believe that there's another level for Terrion Arnold to get to. He has to improve. There's a lot more for him to prove on than I believe there is for Jack Campbell. And obviously, he just went through his first year. And no, I don't know. I see Ventini in the chat, and something tells me you might not agree with this one. He says Arnold will be a Pro Bowler this year.
And you know what? You know what that would.
And he put lock emoji.
Do you know what that would require? A step up. He's not a Pro Bowler now. I don't mind that take. If you think he's going to be a Pro Bowler, it would require an improvement. It would require for him to prove something, not just be what he was last year, because to me, that's not acceptable. I'm not saying that he can't. I'm just saying that he's got to be better. And do I think he is going to be better? Yes, I do. And for the record, I'll give him some grace. I'm not asking him for him to be locked down. I get that there's probably going to be some plays that he gives up. As I said before, and we've talked about many times on this show, the Lions have a gauntlet when it comes to wide receivers. I didn't even mention the Cowboys with a CeeDee Lamb and a George Pickens. He'll give up some plays. He'll give up some yards. He'll probably commit some penalties, but he's got to be a little bit stickier.
Look, Tyler Irvin says 700 snaps and 4 touchdowns allowed. That was a great season.
That's not a great season.
And Phil's
That's not
trying
a great
to get
season.
at you, but
that's not a great season.
Phil is throwing the bait out there for you, bro.
That's not a great season. I'm not saying it's catastrophic, but it's not a great. Why are we using Terrion Arnold and great in the same sentence? If you want to say he was fine or good for a rookie, I'm cool with that. But great and Terrion Arnold should not exist in the same sentence. And you certainly shouldn't think that he's got nothing to improve on. That's lunacy. That's malfeasance. I'm sorry.
I might have to tap in a voice of reason real quick. I might just real quick. I might have to tap in a voice of reason.
Great,
JB.
Terrion Arnold. Get the F out of here, people. I'm so tired of this. T.A.'s a Make-A-Wish kid now. He's a first-round pick that we're now turning into a Make-A-Wish kid. It's ridiculous.
Look, I liked him. I liked everything that T.A. did. I thought he was put in a position to where when we talk about usage, it was so much more than I thought he needed to face in that rookie year. But he didn't fold under it. I thought he got better as the year progressed. A lot of his mistakes were early on, and as the season went on, we saw a cornerback that I wouldn't have believed was a rookie, just to be honest with you. And it's like, for me, understanding the struggle it's been with us trying to find secondary players in the draft, that's where, to me, and I can understand where other Lions fans, yes, he does need to improve, but that's where I can understand using, that word or that adjective of great, because it's been a struggle. Even for Brad Holmes, when we first got him, the word on the street was he has an eye for cornerbacks. He's a secondary whisperer. And he didn't really look to attack that until, I guess later. It was still early because it was within 3 years. But he didn't choose to attack that until after he went and did things in the trenches and got wide receivers and did other things of that nature. But what I'm saying right now, I'm telling you, some of these previous regimes, in my opinion, they would have loved to have been able to strike on any of their secondary players like I believe Brad Holmes is right now with Terrion Arnold. And I know I see the chat. In my eyes, I'm seeing the chat going right now. I think you got them going right now.
There's actually some reasonable stuff. And yeah, we'll get to JB Smoove after I read these two from
Definitely.
Hoofhearted. If TA has another rookie season like that, that's very far from great beyond his rookie season. I can accept that. At least you've got some brains on this one, Hoofhearted. And what up, though, with Detroit Gunny? TA was more than serviceable, but not quite great yet. And that I can stomach. That I can be okay with. I just think we need to tell the truth. He wasn't catastrophically bad, but this idea that he was great even for a rookie, I just think is insane. What were we watching the same sport?
JB saw that too, huh?
I seen it too.
For cue ball?
Yeah.
Go ahead, JB Smoove.
No. I just wanted to chime in and add, even though TA it was his rookie season. So if you're grading him on a curve, it might not have been elite great, but it was very good. I definitely have to give him that. I have to give him his respect.
The voice of reason.
I have to give him his respect because even though he's a rookie, he did do amazing out there on the field. He did get a little handsy at times, which cost him in, those earlier games with flags and everything like that. But once again, he's a rookie. He's learning. This is just a learning curve. He will get better, and he will do that with this season continuing on as well, too. So if I have to grade him, it was a very good season, which is close to great.
But you said he could get better? Wow. Not just stay the exact same? And everything is hunky-dory and everything's wonderful? CJB, and I thought you were even overselling him a little bit, but at least we could use the word
That's
better.
the voice of reason.
Like, we're not allowed to expect anything from TA anymore.
Listen, what got us kind of chuckling, Cue Ball 93. Come on, man. He says anyone looks great after watching Sutton.
Wow. There's actually some merit to that. And, oh, by the way.
There's not any merit to that. It can't be. Bro, look, he faced – I can't even imagine what happens if Sutton is in those situations because we saw it. It was terrible, bro. TA was not that. He wasn't that – and when you look at being able to face that many, being able to put in that many situations in man coverage, man, that to me is what's so dope about it. I think that he was thrown into the fire, and sometimes – it doesn't look the greatest, but this is the way that diamonds are made. I do believe that TA is one of those guys. I thought he proved that as that season went on, man.
Can I just give a little bit of context before we move on and get to a topic that is equally going to polarize the chat? JB, can you put up the comparison from Terrion to a couple of other rookies? Because I hear that too. I hear the whole, oh my goodness, he was basically just as good as Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, but context. If I'm just looking at these numbers, these are cornerback numbers for rookies, and these are allowed, regular, and postseason combined. Terrion, 100 ratings, 792 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 10 penalties, and 699 coverage snaps. Quinyon Mitchell, 80 rating allowed, 529 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, both of them in the playoffs, by the way, 4 penalties on 764 coverage snaps. And Cooper DeJean, who's a different player, he was a slot corner, so I'll leave you guys with that. 81 rating allowed, 564 yards allowed, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick, 3 penalties, 606 coverage snaps. So if you want to say that those two situations were better and more consistent and their defenses were more healthy, I'll give you that. But Terrion was not as good as those guys. And I think that Quinyon actually gives him a target to shoot at. That's my thing.
How much better do you believe he gets, though? Because I see Broder in the chat who says, imagine TA with the real pass rush. Because that's my thing, too. Like, can we rank what's in front of them, too? The defense that's in front of them. And that, to me, does matter for cornerback. We all sit here and we say it often. And we talked about it. We yelled it at Brad Holmes 2 years ago when we were hoping for the Lions to make the playoffs and win their first playoff game at home. We yelled it to the rooftops. Getting the pass rush helps your secondary. Now all of a sudden the entire pass rush gets obliterated, and we're sitting here with a cornerback too in the same. Think about this. It's not just that the defensive line got obliterated, but that he was the one that they put the entire burden on from a cornerback perspective. He's the one who played more snaps and more man coverage than anyone else. Sometimes I wonder how much better does it get when he's able to pick and choose, learn, play with a little bit of a pass rush, get lucky sometimes, because sometimes cornerbacks get lucky. Why? Because the pass rush in front of them has done things to force that. Sometimes you make your own luck. I don't know how much of that making your own luck was happening in front of Terrion Arnold, and that's why we saw him, in my opinion, forced into the levels of responsibility that he had.
But here's the thing, and nobody ever talks about this. The way that we talk about the Eagles versus the Lions defense in the regular season, the Eagles defense undoubtedly was more healthy and better. You would think that the Eagles had 75 sacks and the Lions had 20. It was actually 41-37. The pass rush was not always terrible. It got completely terrible when Aleem McNeil went down. When Aleem was there with Z, it wasn't as awful as people say. And that's always been my point. I don't understand why we treat Terrion Arnold like a Make-A-Wish kid who was just set, who was in the worst position. And I even see like neither Mitchell or DeJean were asked to play CB1. Carlton Davis was CB1 for 13 games. Again, Carlton Davis missed the whole season, right? Every single game he never played. That Houston Texans game, that never happened. Guys, you've been hearing way too many narratives.
When you talk about it, though, we're not just even talking about the pass rush. One of the things we know the Lions continue to do to try and manufacture the pass rush and the sacks and try and chew up some of the blocks. So you talk about not all numbers are the same. When you talk about the 41 to 36 sack numbers, how did the Lions get theirs? Did they have to now literally vacate the help in front of Terrion Arnold because they had to now drop their linebackers even lower? They have to have, so if Malcolm Rodriguez is in the game, he's going to be somebody that they're sending into to help create this pressure. We know that he contributed to some of those numbers. So that's what I'm stating. It's not like they were playing with 3 levels of defense. I think that changes for Terrion Arnold. I think that these right here, you talk about what to shoot for, maybe he gets an opportunity to get a little closer to what Quinyon showed us if there is that defense ahead of him. All of it, because this wasn't something where it was like we just lost a pass rusher. The way they got devastated changed up the whole way they did their defense, and that was what was interesting. We heard the broadcast talking about, look what they're doing with these stunts. They're bringing their linebackers down. This is stuff they did often with Alex Anzalone to try and create these pressures. And that, to me, is what matters. So now you're asking him also to play man, where sometimes there might not even be a linebacker for the quarterback to have to duck the ball. He's not even having to look. That's what I'm saying, like in the middle of the field. I think that type of stuff does matter. And when you talk about the handiness of TA early on even, he was still put out there on the island and asked to go out there and do. That's where I'm at with it, man. That's where I'm at with it. Like, I do believe that what was in front of it and wasn't just the defensive line, I do believe that if that was better, healthier, more full-fledged, like 3 levels, I do believe we see a better Terrion Arnold last year.
But you know what's kind of funny though, and I get what you're saying. A lot of what you said is valid. He was actually at his worst when the pass rush was the healthiest, and when he was at his best when he was on an island. So we talk about man coverage. That was actually where he thrived, and he actually wasn't good at all at the beginning of the year. But you know what? Maybe with a healthier defense full season, it was just meant to be improvement as the season goes along. So it's funny, when he was put in what you think was the hardest situations, he actually was better than what are perceived as the easier situations.
And I see Dennis Fallon in the chat says the Eagles defense played 1,047 snaps in 2024, the fewest in their 4 years under head coach Nick Sirianni. That's incredible. No, I got to see the context, but you know what? What up, though, before that, do Justin?
No, and for those of you guys who are upset that I put Cooper DeJean on the list because he's a slot corner, you don't want me to do Nate Wiggins or Kamari Lassiter. I will snipe. If you want me to do it, I'll do it.
Well,
and I'm not trying
I'm
not trying to like diss our guy. I just think that we have this weird love affair with TA like he was some sort of rookie superstar. No, the F he was not. He wasn't catastrophic, but he was not a rookie star. Not even close.
What up, though, Justin? You've been waiting patiently, dog.
I've been waiting. This funny watching flannel.
You and Freddie look like a jury over there, dog.
He's towing such a fine line on the fact that he thinks that TA had a fine season, but also that he has room to improve, which he does. But I think we can all agree on the fact that TA's first 6 weeks were kind of a vast adjustment period where he was a bunch of pass interferences, he was looked out of place, and he wasn't necessarily looking like himself. Right. So I'm going to discount those 6 weeks as he did not play well, and you can take that as you want. After those 6 weeks, when you look at the receiver matchups that he had and who he had to go up against, the only time he really got burned was in games where they were empty calories, empty yards, when the Lions were up big, allowing teams to throw the ball at will, and where Terrion was playing off coverage. And I think that skews his numbers, and I think it's important to bring up that the 2 highest receiving games he led up were Keenan Allen and Deebo Samuel, 2 games that the Lions were blowing out the Bears and the 49ers in the first half, and gave them the second half opportunity for TA to sit back in coverage, which affected his yearly totals a ton. Keenan Allen had 105 yards in the second half on six catches on 12 targets, and then Deebo Samuel had 102 yards on 6 catches as well. on back-to-back games where the Lions blue bolt them out, and I think that this just skews his numbers. I do think Terrion has another level that he can reach, and I expect him to this year, but I do think that last year his stats are skewed, especially in the regard of when you look at the Quinyon Mitchell and the Hubert Jean stats. I think that they're skewed a ton because of the fact that TA was put in a position where he just had to sit back in man coverage and let these easy yards be taken by some pretty solid receivers.
I mean, yeah, there's context to the numbers. The main and great stats by you, Justin. That's very proud because those are the type of things.
We're proud
that,
of Justin overall, man. It's been
you've
been on a run right now, man.
Yeah.
Great job at the event yesterday.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'll be hosting heavyweights tonight.
Hey, shout out. Definitely, and I mean this not condescendingly at all, the little brother of the of a Wake Up Woodward, which makes sense because he's 10 years younger than me and like more years younger than me. But no, and that's I get that. I'm not saying that that's not real. My thing, and the reason why I brought up Terrion Arnold and why it's created such a lightning rod is I want people to just acknowledge that he's got to be better next year. You can say that rookie lumps are a thing, and they undoubtedly are, but it's this need to crown so soon, need to be like, he doesn't need to improve. He was great, to where I'm like, no, just accept him for what he is, have hope for him, look at the signs to where he did improve and to where he was good, and hold on to those and be like, next year, this is TA's sophomore leap jump. I could see it happening. I think that especially if DJ Reed plays more games than Carlton Davis and the defense overall is healthier, that there's a good chance that TA takes a jump. And I think there's a good chance that there's maybe a receiver or two that you think TA gets burned by, that he surprises some people. Not at all counting out a improvement from TA in year 2, but there has to be an improvement, not stand pat. And I don't think anybody thinks he will stand pat, by the way, which is weird why the discourse is like this.
And I guess that's where Herb Nash is saying, so Jack doesn't need to improve then.
Well, Jack Campbell first off, so Jack Campbell and Terrion Arnold were the same last year. That's what you're saying. If you're saying that, seek help. Get a lobotomy at this point. Actually, there is no help for you. Jack Campbell in his second year was infinitely better as a linebacker than rookie Terrion Arnold was as a corner. Seek help. Seek help.
Let me give us a Freddie Felt as well, man. You're here representing the chat family. You can talk about whatever you've heard us say, but I also want to know if your player hasn't been mentioned. Definitely let us know who do you believe has the most to prove this year. But you also gonna have to help us settle this TA debate too, brother.
Hey, I don't want any of those kind of problems. I'm just here to go see Kendrick Lamar and SZA tonight, and I'm just stopping by to see my fam right now. I don't want any of those problems with flannel, or I'm not trying to start any debates in the chat. No, we're in an instant gratification society where, like, if your text doesn't send in 3 seconds, you're like, screw this phone. You throw it into Woodward traffic. Like, that's the way we are. And I agree with Flannel of, like, wanting to crown people before they deserve the crown. Now, I'm not going to crash out like he does. But I get the sentiment. So, like, I hear what everybody's saying. That's a very kumbaya answer. But, yeah, TA is, like, that's the one player this season that all eyes are on him. And we need him in a big way, especially for this defense. And, everybody forgets what this team did with a depleted defense. We went 15-2. Everybody's going to have to step up, but I need the pads to get on. I need some games to be played, because a Lions offseason without a Super Bowl at this point, I got grays on my chin now. Like,
God, tell me about it.
I'm a very thirsty Pontiac native right now. I'm dying of thirst, to quote Kendrick Lamar. I need a Super Bowl so we stop the overreactions. We stop crowning people. The lack of patience for a rookie to just figure out the learning curve and jumping from college to pros. Some people make it look easy. Some superstars make it look so easy. But we're in such like I said, an instant gratification society where, oh, he's mid, he sucks. You go and make your little tweets or you go make your little social media posts. And you just want to crown somebody to have a hot take so you can tell people you were right 5 years later about somebody that's not there yet. So there's extremes on both ends. But like I said, just here for a concert. Go Lions, one pride.
Yeah, and
Shout out, bro.
Unfortunately, Freddie, I think it's going to be that way until the Lions win a Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
I've always said that when the Lions do get it done, Wake Up Woodward the next year is going to be the most boring show ever because I'm just going to be like, everything is great, everything is wonderful, because we all just want that one so badly.
I just sent JB, I just sent you 4 options. I saw Herb Nash. He wants us to put up a poll. He believes it's still Jack Campbell, but I'm seeing other people in the chat who are saying other things as well. So if you can, let's get those 4 up. I think that they represent ours. We had Jack Campbell from the booth of JB Smooth and myself. We had Aiden Hutchinson from the other booth in the sound booth with Kavasier Chase. I believe Justin said Mahogany and Tate, and you said Cherry and Olive.
Yep.
Right,
I think that's a good poll to put up because I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer. But in the interest of time, we could talk about this all day. We do want to get to the phones for maybe the last half hour of the show or so. So we're going to move on to Jaire Alexander. I have a feeling of how this is going to go in the chat, but you know what?
I don't know how this is
Maybe
going
you
to
guys
go,
will surprise me, but I've got an opinion. I'm sure everybody else does in this room. We're gonna present a few of ours, and then we're gonna let you guys take it from there. But what do we got next?
Feldman and Planet Fitness.
Feldman, awesome. Thank you so much. You can get a 2025 Chevy Silverado for just $199 a month, or get a 2025 Chevy Equinox for only $259 a month. Come visit any of Feldman's 5 Chevy locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, or Lansing.
And Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. They've got 50+ Metro Detroit locations. They've got the cheapest memberships for only $15 a month, or you can upgrade to the Black Card where you get all kinds of amenities, such as being able to visit any Planet Fitness across the world whenever you want. Join today in club or online, or visit planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
The blows of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us Friday, June 13th from 5 to 7 with the heavyweights at Nemo's in Corktown for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw and Ben Johnson.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, summer is heating up and Michigan is buzzing. Each can delivers 3.5 milligrams of real THC wrapped in bubbles, crafted with real fruit juice and no artificial sweeteners. They're bold in flavor but low in calories, and they're 100% hangover free. It's all bubbles with no troubles, perfect for poolside sips, bonfire nights, or lake day chills. Available at any of Loom's 38 locations across Michigan. Go ahead and use code 30 for 30% off your entire order. That's online or in store. Go to www.loom.com today.
What up, though, people? We are back. It is Wake Up Woodward. Chat family, go ahead and smash that like button. Let's reach that like goal. And you know what? If we get like goal and a half, we got some merch giveaways. And I know that the super chats are coming in too, which gets you closer to another giveaway. And you know, Mike G is pretty hilarious, man. He says he's not sure if Terrion has the length to be a lockdown cornerback one. Terrion had to grab more than flannel on his honeymoon night. What?
Whoa,
Mike G. Every now and then, Mike G's comments make it over the make it through the filter.
Yes, they do. JB Smooth, do we have any super chats we need to clean up before we move on to Jaire Alexander?
I think we got to that one. Yeah, just wanted to clean up. Directed towards Freddie, man. From Nobody, $2. He says, Freddie, you from Indy? What's the vibes like? Go Lions.
What are the vibes in Indy right now?
Yeah.
They're at an all-time high. Indiana's a basketball state, man. Like they say, it's 49 other states. It's just basketball. I moved there right the day after commencement. Shout out OU. Shout out the Grizz. Shout out Neil Rule. But yeah, I've been down there for 16 years now, and they're speaking of dying. They're thirsty. They had that one finals appearance with I don't know, a team called the Lakers. Yeah, it wasn't pretty after game one. So they've been really hungry, man. And like I said, shout out to all my friends there. Dion, Trevor, I see you. I want it for them, man. I know the malice at the pale. I'm supposed to hate them because the malice at the pale. I hate Jermaine O'Neal. I hate Steven Jackson. I want all the smoke, pun intended. Screw that team. But I want this one for my friends down there. I want it for people that, speaking of Lions fans, we've never had one. They've never had one, and they've been close so many times. They've always been good, not great, or great, not champions. They've never had a number one pick. They've never had worst record in the league. We've been around that a couple times, so I'm rooting for them. But yeah, the city is up right now, like it's nuts. I'll be there for the watch party on Wednesday. It's like an outdoor event and everything, TVs and everything. But yeah, I'll shoot a little video for anyone that cares about Pacer Nation out there, the yes sirs.
Hey, I appreciate that, Freddie. If you've got time, if you get caught up in like the fray, no pressure. But if you've got time, we would love to see what the atmosphere is like, and we will feature it on this show.
Oh hell yeah!
Shout out to
Freddie.
Man.
Shout out Indy. It is a great city, and shout out that 2000s team, that 2000 team that ran into Shaq at the peak apex of his powers. I think he averaged. I'm pretty sure he averaged 38 and 17 in that series. Just dominant. But
straight Shaq.
All right. Speaking of dominant at times, Jaire Alexander had some dominant seasons in Green Bay, although not so much recently. And as we talked about yesterday at the end of the show, and it was discussed on some other shows, Jaire Alexander was just released by the Green Bay Packers. And Jaire Alexander was under contract. It was 4 years, $84 million, and I guess the Packers just didn't want to pay him and didn't want him to stay on the team, which in itself is a bit of a red flag when you're talking about Jaire Alexander as a potential partner when it comes to the game of free agency. A little weird saying, but you know what I'm talking about. And I think one of the biggest reasons why people are turned off to Jaire Alexander, or even what turned off the Packers to Jaire Alexander, is the fact that in the last 4 seasons, he has been absolutely ravaged by injuries. In the last 4 seasons, this is 4 seasons, out of a possible 68 games, Jaire Alexander played in 34 of them, which is literally half. He missed 13 in 2021, just 1 in 2022. That was a relatively full season. 10 in 2023, and 10 in 2024. However, JB Smooth, and this is for you because I've got a graphic to support this.
Oh yeah.
There was also moments in Jaire Alexander's career when he was great. Not good, but great. So if you have the great Jaire Alexander graphic, go ahead and put that up. And this wasn't last year, this wasn't the year before. These are his 2 all-pro seasons. And this is in terms of regular and postseason. In 2020, he gave up an absolutely absurd 54 passer rating when targeted. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, only committed 1 penalty, and was a second-team All-Pro. In 2022, he gave up a 66 rating when targeted, 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, which is insane, only committed 1 penalty, and was a second-team All-Pro. And when you talk about what the expectations are for the Detroit Lions, the only thing that really matters moving forward is the playoffs. And this is just for the playoffs in his career. So the first set is about regular and postseason. This one right there is just his playoff career. He's given up a 54 rating when targeted. 54 in his playoff career. Only 1 touchdown, 3 picks, 1 penalty, and 211 coverage snaps, and he is 28 years old. Before I give my opinion and before I let everybody else give theirs, I wanted to present this as what you can dislike about him, which is the fact that he's been very, very injury prone lately, but you also have to acknowledge that he has been great at times. And if you just want to look at last year, you don't have to put this one up, JB. I'll just read it. Last season, in a short season, he gave up an 80 rating when targeted, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Oh, geez, 2 penalties on and 227 yards on 232 coverage snaps. Thank you, JB, for putting that up.
Yeah.
So that's the full picture when it comes to Jaire Alexander. Obviously, what his compensation would be is something that we have to be mindful of, or Brad Holmes has to be mindful of. I don't think he would do it. I'm curious to see what people in the chat think. I'm sure they would absolutely say no, but Kool-Aid, I'll go to you first after seeing all this information, after kind of mulling through your own thoughts on Jaire Alexander. Is this something the Lions should consider, or is cornerback just not a position of need and they'll be fine?
I don't know, man. There were times when I didn't think it was necessarily something they were going to attack as aggressively as we've seen Brad Holmes do now in the free agency market back-to-back years. And he's done this, honestly, a lot, and even bringing in some of the veterans and taking risks on people like Mosley and such. We've seen that Brad Holmes has taken some interest in the secondary, and preferably trying to make sure you can get these cornerbacks right, to be able to have, honestly, what I believe to be, I think he's a madman and believes that he can put 2 effective cornerbacks out there on each side of the field that you really don't want to mess with, that you don't really want to target, and you only throw there because, well, you have to run your plays. But this is one in which I kind of stopped just short. I don't liken this one into some of the other deals that he made. I do believe that they have right now, if it's that or what they have in-house, I do believe in what they have in-house for the growth. I really do. And I'm looking forward to what this secondary room, more focused in the cornerbacks, what they're going to do to take that next step forward. I see what you did there, too, because he gave his take on TA. And then right away is Jaire Alexander's the next one. So I can't wait to see what Flannel says about, his take on to the Lions or not. I just don't know if it's a fit right now. I like their room. I believe in the potential of TA. And I think that they have enough right now from the cornerback position. If you're talking about somebody who's going to give you, health ability that you're not even second guessing or thinking that, you're talking maybe star ability, then maybe we're talking about something a little bit different. But unless this is a cornerback who's coming in and playing, in rotation, in depth, is going to come in and realistically fit in with the squad, I honestly would say, nah. I mean, we're still waiting to see what Ennis Rakestraw is going to be.
We are. We definitely are. He was injured for most of last year, and I really don't think there's anything you can take away. 49 snaps. Chris S., I got to cut this off before I knew this was coming because this is what Lions fans do. Why are you going to talk about Jaire? There's a reason why he was cut. Dude stays hurt. People bitch about Davenport and his lack of availability, but yet want Jaire. Doesn't make sense. Chris S., Jaire Alexander was a 2-time second-team All-Pro when he was healthy. Marcus Davenport was not that and will never be that. And I'm not even saying that I'm mad at Marcus Davenport being on the team right now. I don't think he should be your edge rusher too, but I've accepted that he's on the team. But there's a reason why Jaire Alexander... let's just say this. If Jaire Alexander were signed to a team, he would not get peanuts with incentives as his contract, like Marcus Davenport did. And you can't deny that. That's literally what his contract is, basically vet minimum plus incentives. All right. Boys, I'm doing this.
What up,
I'm putting myself out on an island.
Oh, boy.
I would absolutely entertain Jaire Alexander 100% with caveats.
Wait, are you replacing TA? Because my caveat is if you're talking about a rotation, depth piece, and you're allowing TA to take that next step forward, maybe.
Yeah, what is this caveat?
Yeah,
like,
it depends on the caveats now.
What are you trying to give up for him, or what are you trying to sign him for?
I think he's trying to start a mutiny or riot in the chat.
I'm not trying to start
he
a
says
riot.
to replace TA. I can't wait. Freddie is over there. He's over there. I hear you. You're chuckling. I can't wait, man. Flannel, the stage is yours.
I'm absolutely kicking the tires on Jaire Alexander. And not only would, if he was on this team, would TA not be a starter, Jaire Alexander right now is better than DJ Reed, player for player. Jaire Alexander right now is better than DJ Reed. I think that if Jaire Alexander was on this team, this secondary would literally be like a no-fly zone, like the no-fly zone, like the Legion of Boom type secondary. I'm not saying it would be the exact same, but it would be that style of secondary. And the reason why I say this, with Jaire Alexander, first off, I think the Packers made a catastrophic mistake by releasing him. I actually think he was relatively cheap given the production that he was able to give when healthy. And you might ask yourself, why would they do that then if there wasn't something wrong with them? I don't know. The Packers might just be doing something dumb because their secondary right now is depleted. Here's what I think will happen. I think Jaire Alexander is a little bit radioactive. I think he will hit the open market and he won't make as much money as he thinks he will. I think he's going to be very, very disappointed by the offers that he gets from other teams. And this is where Brad Holmes swoops in after giving it a couple of weeks. Here's what you do if you're Brad Holmes. You say to Jaire Alexander, we'll give you a 1-year prove-it deal. I'll even give you 1 year, $21 million to replace the AAV that was of his Packers contract. The Lions are in a very good cap situation now, but not so great next year. You give him the money now for 1 year.
How much?
1 year, $21 million. If that's what it takes, I would do it. It might even take less. But he's also Jaire Alexander. He has a track record. I would give him 1 year, $21 million, and have him be on this team for this year, be a no-fly zone, win the Super Bowl. That's how I'm pitching it to Jaire Alexander.
Wait,
This could be
who's your CB1 and CB2 in this scenario?
CB1, Jaire, CB2, DJ Reed. Terrion Arnold is an injury replacement and rotational. They're trying to win a Super Bowl. 1 year, $21 million, Jaire Alexander. Get you a Super Bowl, get your reputation back right, play a full season, be an all-pro, get your long-term contract in your age 29 season going forward into next year. I am absolutely doing this. I'm not giving him a Stingley deal or anything like that. I'm not making him giving him a lot of term or giving him, like I said, a Stingley deal or a Patrick Surtain deal or anything like that. But I absolutely am kicking the tires on Jaire Alexander because he would be the best cornerback. He would be the best cornerback on the Detroit Lions right now.
And you're unseating Terrion Arnold, who I believe has an opportunity to step up in a big way, especially with an improved pass rush this year, and just a natural progression that we believe a player of his caliber can make. That to me is just not the way, bro. That to me is not the way. When I'm looking at what this secondary is right now, and I saw somebody else see it, I see some of the chat family, you already know you got them kind of going on edge.
Absolutely.
So we definitely going to have to go to the chat. Let me see here. Chris S. You're high as F, Sam. What the heck? Hold on.
That's fine.
I got to go to these, man.
I'll tell you what. I would be willing to bet that Terrion Arnold is never as good as Jaire was at his peak.
That's fair.
At his peak.
That's so fair to say.
But we're talking about what they're going to be next season, and that to me is where the conversation is a lot more fair to slant this thing towards what the Lions already have in house, in my opinion. But let me see here. Edward Krunsky says DJ Reed has availability, which is something I'm going to factor in.
Fair.
The money has to be a big factor because what are these? I want them to keep as much flexibility to be able to selfishly go after the trenches. Shout out to Kavasi Chase. Or to stand pat and see what actually becomes a need, because I don't think that they have a need. Now, I feel what you're saying. You want them to make any move that you think can make them a Super Bowl winner. I just don't think that move makes them that. And then when you're talking about the investments in a Terrion Arnold, who's already shown a lot of promise, that's why I also wonder about the repercussion of taking Terrion Arnold and making this guy from starter who was asked to carry this burden to now, hey, you know what? If this guy who availability has not been his best ability, Terran Arnold just proved that it is for him. And he was tossed into the fire. That to me, I don't know, man. I don't know how that looks when you're talking about Brad Holmes saying I'm going to take care of my guys. That to me doesn't feel like necessarily a Brad Holmes or a Dan Campbell type move.
Well, and for the purpose of this conversation, I'm not talking about it of whether it's a Brad Holmes type of move. I'm Flannel Holmes for today. I'm GM Flannel Sam. I won't even give myself his last name. I am GM Flannel Sam, and this is what I would do. If you want to say that's why you're not a GM and Brad Holmes is, fine. But I'm only giving him 1 year. I'm not talking about it affecting the salary cap for any way, shape, or form next season when the Lions actually don't have as much flexibility. Win the Super Bowl this year.
21M? LMAO.
If that's what it takes.
Caps. I saw somebody else said 21 million is absolutely crazy.
For 1 year. I'm not talking about 4 at 84.
That's Luna AG says 21 million is absurd, and no, they're not for it, Sam.
No,
they're not. And I'm
to the shock of absolutely no one.
I'm not for it either. D-Dunk, 20 million, that's nuts. Listen to me. If you're talking about sinking that much money into a position that you think can move them to Super Bowl contention, it's not in Jaire Alexander for me. There are certain even players, and we talked about it, who, you know what, do I want to see him go to another team within our division? Not preferably, but he's not that guy that I'm trying to stop from going to another team. This is where I do appreciate what the Lions are trying to do, because if we're talking about does Brad Holmes have a type, he used to. And Jaire might have been one of those old shiny toys that Brad Holmes might have looked at and said, oh, man, you wounded piece of gold there. I can turn you into something. I can save you. But what I've seen as of late, I want to see this team take a next step forward and have more of what we've seen the Eagles do and prioritize who can be available. What players can we identify that have proven that they can be there? Not that an injury here or there means that they aren't one of those guys, but that's what I'm looking for out of the Detroit Lions, aside from the culture fit. I'm looking at what they've already started with TA. I believe in him. I'm just looking at our poll about who has the most approved. He's really starting to catch Tate and Mahogany on this list. He's at 31%, Jack Campbell at 22%, Hutchinson at 14%, Tate Mahogany at 34%. He's starting to really reach, and I'm wondering what's behind people's reasoning. Is it because they do believe in him being able to take that step? Because that, to me, is going to be a big part of why I would say no to Jaire Alexander. Aside from the money and the, availability, I do believe Terran Arnold is going to take these next steps.
He could. And I'm not saying that he won't. What I'm saying is, and I'm dead serious, for 1 year, the Detroit Lions would have, in my opinion, the best secondary in the NFL. Jaire Alexander, DJ
for how
Reed,
many games?
That's the question. And then TA can be there as like an insurance policy.
Voice of reason.
When Jaire has played his last 2 full seasons played, he was second team All-Pro both times, and he was pretty damn good last year. I see some people in the chat, 1 year, $5 million, 1 year, $6 million. That just shows how much you guys know. He wouldn't take that. And if he does, if he were to take that, though, and you guys still don't want him, you're on drugs.
You know Neil's going to find this.
I don't care. I don't care. You think I've never fought battles with Neil before? Never once happened. Never once.
Voice of reason. What up, dog?
Terrion Revis, boys.
I gotta hear from that dude just too.
Terrion Sanders, Dion Arnold, already as a rookie, boys.
Voice of reason. What up, dog, man?
Flannel's not wrong. I will at least agree with the fact of if you want to kick the tires on Jaire Alexander, that's fine.
At 21 million?
Wait. Not at 21 million. I'm not doing that. I'm not
kicking TA to the curb.
I'm not that crazy. Not doing all that. Look, I'm still gonna rock with the guys that we have had on this team and who have chosen to be on this team for a while now. They're still gonna be your starters out there, but I will kick the tires on Jaire Alexander and offer him a nice Brad Holmes prove-it deal, because he likes his prove-it deals. He likes his injured players as well too.
Well, like 1 year, 13?
10, 12 mil.
10, 12?
10, 12 mil. If you accept it, that's fine.
And he's not unseating Terrion.
Yes, he's not. You will be the rotation piece.
I can get with that world.
He will be the rotation piece, and you need to prove to us that, yes, you still have that talent that you did years before when you were playing with the Packers when you first started. But for me, 1 year, 10, 12, you are the rotation piece.
But Jaire Alexander is not going to accept being a rotational piece, nor should he. Like, that doesn't make him a malcontent. That makes him somebody who's been elite recently. I think so we're basically saying, like, you know what, Jaire Alexander, you are a rotational piece whether you like it or not. But we can't ask that of Terrion Arnold? Are you kidding me? Because confidence, feelings. Come on, be better.
But I'm with you. I'm with you. Go after Jaire.
Wait. And you're unseating.
I'm willing. Yeah, I am.
Wow.
We're trying to win a Super Bowl here, and as much as I love TA, and I think that he'll have the opportunity to make a jump, even if Jaire Alexander is on this team. I think that the amount that he could learn from a guy like Jaire Alexander would be so beneficial for him in year 3 and year 4 and year 5. Like, it's only 1 year. It's only his second year in the pros where he still has 3 years left on his rookie deal. Like we're talking about a guy who could use that veteran presence in there of an elite corner.
That's a demotion no matter how you want to slice it, from a guy who got the most snaps and actually proved to do well, and then you're talking about, hey, catch some bench, kid. Like, this is bench warmer.
He wasn't good at anything but man coverage.
But we say the same stuff about Amik Robertson, and he locked up Justin Jefferson in the last couple of...
Amik was better. Amik was absolutely better than TA last year. Absolutely, no question about it at his position.
I don't think that he was put into the same type of situations on a consistent basis that TA was, and that's what the stats bear. That's something that I think you would understand.
I get it.
The stats bear, hey, we threw him to the Wolves with not a lot in front of him, and what did he do? He performed. That's why I do believe that we see the support for TA in the chat, and that's where I'm not all the way out of a Jaire, but if you're talking about taking TA, I don't know how much in terms of what that do justice. So I don't know how much this does help the confidence of a TA. I would look at this as I'm being demoted instantly. You're going from, you're getting the most snaps. You're playing the most man coverage on the entire team to now you're an injury replacement for a guy who gets injured.
Hey, if TA is what you guys think he is, you guys probably think he's better than Jaire. He should think he's better than Jaire.
I believe
Beat him out.
What TA can be over the course of this next season more than what I believe Jaire can be.
That's insane.
So how many games is Jaire playing? Because
that's the only question. That's the only question.
Then how can we take such a hard stance against a Marcus Davenport then?
Because Marcus Davenport wasn't an All-Pro. Jaire Alexander was a 2-time All-Pro.
It's not necessarily about the All-Pro of it. It's about the injuries. It's about the cap space. It's about the flexibility. We don't even know what our needs are going to be. We've said this the last 2 seasons, and Brad Holmes has as well. This is where I value what TA's potential is, mixed with what he's already shown, mixed with Brad Holmes being able to have his flexibility now and until the trade deadline to do things that I think are way more important. If I see here right now, and it's like, you would rather them go right now. If they could snap their fingers and make one thing happen, it would be Jaire Alexander.
Not necessarily one thing.
Even when you compare it, even to Jaire and even Big Z, another one. You're telling me right now you would give $21 million to Jaire over them giving less to Zadarius Smith.
I would.
Wow.
I would. Wow. Wheezy? That probably makes you happy. No, but for real, I would. Because Jaire's younger, he's been better at his peak, and this idea that he wasn't good last year, he was good. He just, like I said, if you don't want him because of injury, I can't kill you for that. I gave you that. I'll STF you, but I'll give you reasons on why it does work. Why it could work, and that's basically what we've been doing.
Man. Anything else on that dude, Justin? Because I know, look, it's interesting. It's interesting. What the last segment, you guys are at different perspectives. This one, you guys are locked in, but all of it really, really, really revolving around the cornerback position, man. Goodness gracious.
I wouldn't pay him $21 million, but
not the 21.
No, I would not pay him $21 million. I think that's a little aggressive. I think I would pay him. I'd probably pay him more than I pay. I'd pay him more than I pay Zadarius Smith, but at that point, you could just pay them both. So,
why
not just bring them both?
Yeah, and I see Eric Allen in the chat. He says Alexander is good, but the money is my issue. Alexander will solidify this as the best secondary in the league. I'd be on board if the money is right, but like Kool-Aid, taken away from TA does hurt.
Well, and that's if Brad Holmes could potentially make a deal that's even better. What I'm doing when it comes to $21 million, it doesn't hit like other $21 million deals. I think that's what it would potentially take for Jaire Alexander to accept a 1-year deal. And the reason I'm so hard stance on a 1-year deal is because the Lions cap flexibility is very, very good this year, and next year it's a little bit more in question. If you give Jaire Alexander a 1-year deal, no matter how expensive it is, you don't have to worry about next year. You don't have to re-sign him. Like, if Jaire Alexander were to come here, and I'm just giving an if, and I mentioned this at the beginning, has a Pro Bowl caliber season, heck, maybe even all-pro caliber season, the Lions win the Super Bowl, Jaire Alexander stays healthy, it will completely fix his reputation, and then he might get the long-term deal that I think his talent dictates next season after he proves it with the Lions and gets a short-term bag. That's the only way I think it gets done. If it can be gotten done for less, sign me up in a heartbeat.
KG is somewhere right now, fuming right now.
Because he thinks last season's TA was as good as 2020's Jaire Alexander. Shout out my brother.
And I think where all of us have kumbaya is that we do believe that there is room for improvement at that next step for Terrion Arnold, and that's where I do believe he's going to cash in. You talk about a guy who's now understands what the NFL is. And he performed that well while learning on the fly. I believe it's just going to get better from here for Terrion Arnold. And I don't want to really stunt that. I want to be able to have him have everything in front of him to be able to go and be the best cornerback he can have, development-wise. And I do believe for him, it's being thrown into the fire and performing. Now, this year, it's going to be with a few more dogs in front of you on that line. I see Travis up there, man. I'm going to send you something later, too, because we talk about the cornerback one. And you've been shocking me lately, Travis. Shout out to our social manager here, our lead here. And we talking about effectively Jaire Alexander and who should be that cornerback one. And that dude, Justin and Flannel, both were in agreement. Jaire Alexander.
I got a couple people in the chat that also agree.
We got the poll in the chat. I want to see you guys get into the chat, man. We got to see what you guys say. We're going to let the chat speak. They will settle it.
Hey, they will absolutely settle it. But, Chase, are the phones up and running, or
yeah,
they are? Has anybody called yet?
No, everybody's a bunch of pussies this morning. No one wants to talk.
All right,
I'm just joking around.
I actually did like specifically order the chat to like not make Chase's job too difficult right off the bat. But actually, I want Chase to get in on this, and then we are going to get the chat's opinion on this. Chase, my Jaire Alexander plan. Are you with it? Not with it? Have more belief in TA than I do? Take it wherever you want.
If it makes the team better, I'm all for it.
Okay.
That's what everybody should be focused on. Is the team, like, when any move that gets made, regardless of the player, regardless of the position, take a step back. Don't let your emotions get involved. Ask the question, yes or no, does this make this Lions team better? If the answer is yes, you should not have a problem with it. If you do, then why are you rooting for the team?
Well, and just for a little bit of context as well, DJ Reed absolutely thrived as more of a CB2 to Sauce Gardner, and Jaire Alexander absolutely thrived during his last 2 healthy seasons as a CB1. And that's why I've specifically used that as what the cornerback rankings would be. And like I said, Amik at nickel, Branch and Kirby in the safety room, that's 2013 Seahawks to me. I really do believe that it could be that level of a secondary. But hey, Dante151 $4.99 super chat. I would take a chance on Alexander, and it wouldn't be a demotion to TA. TA can learn from Alexander to be a lockdown corner for years to come in the D.
That is a demotion, no matter what you want to say. You had work, now you have less work. That's a demotion in every other field. That's what that is.
I just don't think TA has earned the right to be undemotable, if that makes sense. If you want to say it's a demotion, I'll agree with you. I just don't think he's earned the right to be impervious to not being demoted. I don't think
he earned the right, though, to just, on a whim. When you're talking about everything that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell say and turning their words not into marketing tactics but real things, I think that would be the most anti-Brad Holmes thing in the world if you're just telling me, hey, go grab some bench, TA. After you guys put all that on him and you guys stood up on those press conferences and you took the bullets for him, it just doesn't seem to me like it would be a sign that they believe in what Terrion Arnold could be.
But it's also the fact that Jaire Alexander is at 28 years old, don't usually become – just imagine a few years ago that Jaire Alexander would have become available. It could be a gift. It could be a gift.
But not at the expense at all of Terrion Arnold.
All right, and I don't think he would accept that kind of a role. And I don't think Jaire necessarily has to. Oh, Travis is dying to get on this. All right, and we have some calls on the line, but we got to get Travis
John F.
in.
says a TA jersey bet. You and I might have to do something.
I think I did make some. Didn't I say like 80 passer rating allowed or lower was a TA jersey?
You did say something like that.
Cool with that. I don't care if he gets a pick or not. If he allows an 80 passer rating when targeted or lower, I will absolutely get a TA jersey because that would be a very successful season.
I'm going to figure out something, too. I'll join you in that, son.
Travis.
Flannel, I know you're saying it may come at the expense of Terrion Arnold, but I'm thinking bigger picture. What about Anzalone? Still needs paid. And then we're trying to bring back maybe Zadarius Smith, who just said he wants to come back to Detroit. How does Jaire Alexander money fit into that situation to you?
I've got
Anzo will probably be pissed.
No, yeah. Well, Anzo needs to get off social media, by the way. But that's neither here nor there.
My man Flannel's like everybody. Big muscular.
I don't think it affects Anzo because he's still under contract. I've got Jaire for 1 year, by the way. That's why the number is so big. As far as Zadarius Smith, I already told Kool-Aid. If you told me Jaire at $21 million or cheap Zadarius Smith, I would take Jaire because I just think he's a better player. I think he's a much better player with a higher ceiling.
But at a position of
Zadarius
not as much need, in my opinion.
I don't think TA is that great. I've made it very clear. I think he's got room to improve, but
hey. That's all I hear right now. This is the haters ball. Shout out to the Chappelle Show, man, and goodness, and Ice-T. But goodness gracious, man, let's take a quick one. Do we want to throw the phone number out there?
Oh yeah, there's already a caller in.
Oh, we have a caller in?
What up, though, with Detroit Gunny?
Hey, dope. And let's throw that number out there one more time, and then we'll take the call and then take a quick one and get some more callers in.
All right, let's do it.
What,
313-552-6322.
Hey, call on in. Let's get to what up, though, with Detroit Gunny.
Ooh, let's take a break first.
You want to take it?
Let's take a break.
All right.
Yeah.
What friends you want to say what up, though, to JB Smooth?
We got to hear from the Massage Chair House and Les Stanford.
Oh. No,
my thing's not on.
Yeah.
Looking to upgrade your relaxation game. We're relaxing too much here in the booth. We're on the phone talking to What Up Though with Detroit Gunny. Check out the Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest with top brands for massage chairs like Infinity and Osaki. Located near the corner of Woodward and Long Lake Road. Experience luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan, the wellness doctor. Creator of the YouTube's top massage chair review channel. Book a visit at www.massagechairhouse.com or scan that QR code above my head. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
And after you're relaxed, go get a car. Les Stanford Buick and GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2025 Envision Preferred AWD for only $259 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation for only $169 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $699 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
For sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
Throw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo. You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
The boys of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us Friday, June 13th from 5 to 7 with the heavyweights at Nemo's in Corktown for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw and Ven Johnson.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
No gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got Tully, everybody. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You guys want to make sure that you stay tapped in with Woodward Sports on all social media platforms. Make sure you follow us everywhere at Woodward Sports. You're talking about YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. Make sure you get there. Why? Because we're always posting the latest breaking news. We're always posting the show clips. We're featuring the chat family, watch parties, boots on the ground. You never know what you're going to see when we're at these events and we're covering these things. And giveaways. You can never go wrong with the giveaways, whether it's merch, whether it's tickets, whether it's jerseys. Yes. So make sure you follow Woodward Sports on all social media platforms at Woodward Sports everywhere. And attention sports fans. So that's everybody that's underneath the sound of my voice right now. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. You want to join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, which is offering top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy at DMAC Trust, because Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And we are back. Goodness gracious. I'm ready to hear what the chat family has to say. Shout out to Freddie Felt for being here and representing the chat family with boots on the ground and live in studio. And Kavasi Chase is over there working tough in the sound booth. We're about to get some callers lined up, but JB Smooth, let's clear up any super chats that we have.
Oh, I got you for sure. I think we got 2 of them right now that I can see. Shout out to everyone sending in super chats. $4.99 from Dante151. He said, I would take a chance on Alexander, and it wouldn't be a demotion for TA. TA can learn from Alexander to be a lockdown corner for years to come in the D. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, you're preaching to the choir, man. Shout out Dante151. We got anything else?
Yep, one more from Dante151 as well, too. $1.99. He said the backup to TA is Khalil Dorsey. What?
I mean, is that probably what it says on the depth chart? I mean, ideally, Rakestraw takes a step. Yeah, I get
like, what?
Shout out to Dante.
Shout out Khalil Dorsey. But we got What Up Though with Detroit Gunny on the line.
Let's go.
Yeah, we have 3 different callers on the line.
Wonderful.
Hey, people, man. Let's ride because
shout out. We got What Up Though with Detroit Gunny. Should be live on the air.
What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? Hey, listen, man. Hey, thank you for calling in, and you can talk about whatever, but I gotta ask you too. Who do you want to be that cornerback, Jaire Alexander or TA?
All right, this is an easy one. It's TA.
Let's go.
We don't need we don't need an oft-injured cornerback. We tried that with Emmanuel Mosley. It didn't work. Move on. I think y'all are forgetting we got our boy Rock Ya-Sin on the roster right now. So
oh yeah,
just keep that in the back of our mind. Yeah. But seriously though, I just came back from my staycation. I was in Newport Beach, Pelican Hill Resort. Just kind of chilling out, and I come back and I think Flannel Sam was dipping into the loom a little early today, but seriously, these guys talked about needing to prove, or to me it sounded more like most improved kind of like chatter. But I think Jack Campbell has established himself well enough, with all the injuries in the linebackers had last year. So, Jack's on his way. I was leaning more towards Ennis Rakestraw having to prove something, because being a second-round pick and not even playing last year, I think he really needs to, prove that, he's worth a second-round pick and that he can be that rotational piece more so than moving Terrion to being a rotational piece with, like I said, an oft-injured Jaire Alexander that's, I believe a couple years past his prime. So, yes, he may only be 28, but, someone else is only 29, and that's linebacker Jermaine Pratt from the Bengals. I would have rather had 45 minutes talking about him taking over for crybaby Anzalone. Look, I love
Alex. Hey, you and Flannel have just booked a table for two at the Anzo Get Off Social Media table.
Hey, Gunny.
Exactly.
I would never call him crybaby yet because I do think him feeling underpaid is justified. However, Alex Anzalone, our green dot, acting like that on social media, acting like
Jack Campbell. Got a lot to prove next.
I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say it because people will get mad and try to cancel me. But no, I don't. Get off social media.
I'll clarify on why I'm saying he's crying. Because, one, I believe Dan brought him from the Saints and took a chance on him. We can all agree that first year was not very good.
No.
I mean, I could count, if I got a nickel every time he went in the wrong hole, I'd be a rich man right now. Like, yes, he improved, and yes, he's the heart of the defense, but you need to act like it. If you feel like you need to be paid more,
we're starting your 24 now.
There's a way to go. Yeah, there's a way to go about it. So, yeah. And finally, I think it's time for some TTB. So, we've got a series up against the Orioles. Yeah. So I think that should be a good series. But, yeah, I mean, we got to take 2 out of 3 again and just keep the ball rolling.
Let's rock. What up, though, with Detroit, Gunny? And you know what? He finished up that statement even before the final second. So talk about a buzzer beater. Who needs Tyrese Halliburton when you got what up, though, with Detroit, Gunny? And you know what? He talked about Tigers, which is kind of an interesting segue to our next caller, who we'll get to after the break.
You guys are going to appreciate who our next caller is. A lot of you really are. All of you
just take him right now.
Let's take a break.
We'll take one. Yeah, I hear Chase and they're getting it together. Let's rock, man. Hey, who should we say what up, though, to JB Smooth?
We got to hear from Vin Johnson and then over to me for Jars.
I think people are going to like this next caller.
Yes,
I think they might.
You guys absolutely are. Justice. It just means different things to different people, but whether it's a settlement or a verdict, justice is always worth the fight. If you've got a case, contact the fighters at Ven Johnson Law today and get the justice you deserve. Tough, tenacious trial lawyers, Ven Johnson Law.
And Jars Cannabis, because sports fans, whether you're hitting the game or simply chilling at home, Jars Cannabis has you covered. Jars is home to Michigan's largest line of recreational cannabis products, 27 locations across the state, 9 alone in Metro Detroit, so there's always one close nearby. But don't fear, because we live in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, or Milan, Michigan. Stores are popping up your way very, very soon. If you don't have time to check out all their products in store, hit them up online at jarscannabis.com and check out their Instagram at jars_life, because you know what? I know you want to get high.
Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Feldman Chevrolet still has tariff-free inventory, so we're extending the Memorial Day sale. That means it's your last chance to get tariff-free pricing on your new Chevy. Get this 2025 Silverado for only $199 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for just $259 a month. But hurry, these low prices won't last. Don't miss your last chance to save big. The Memorial Day sale has been extended at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Join us for the White Claw Tigers Tour. Woodward Sports will be hitting 4 of the top bars in Detroit to watch the Tigers game live on the network. Join Spencer and Easy on Friday, June 13th for our second stop on that tour at Nemo's Bar in Detroit. And y'all see when we wear the White Claw victory shades, you guys also can get some. They're going to have the merch, the swag, the koozies, all that type of stuff, giveaways. And you already know some other Woodward Sports personalities will be in the building, including Nick, because the tailgate always wins. He is probably the best Tigers, I'm gonna say it, the best Tigers reporter in the great state of pure Michigan. So we want to see you guys there, be a part of all the fun, and see our reactions live on Woodward Sports Network to one of the hottest teams in all of baseball. It's the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw and Ben Johnson Law. We are back. We still talking about those Lions, man. I see Hoof Hearted in the chat, one of my favorite chat names. He says, if the Lions are spending $10 million plus on a defensive player for the year, it better be an edge and not a cornerback. You're speaking my language, Hoof. You're speaking my language.
I mean, I wouldn't hate an edge rusher either. It's just, my thing is Jaire's available now. Never expected him to be available.
And I'll just, kick TA to the curb now. Now TA just doesn't matter. You know what? We can just waste draft picks. We don't believe in what Brad Holmes has already done.
1 year of Jaire. TA can
good
season. He can
good
marinate.
Way of saying you don't believe in Brad Holmes, Flannel.
Yes. I hate Brad Holmes. Hey, you guys don't believe in Brad Holmes if he signs Jaire Alexander, right? But now, anywho, we could play this game all day. But do you? We got the man on the line. All right, yeah. Get the man on the line.
That's stuff we would all like to do more.
If you would, please, of course.
People what they want. We have a very special caller on the air. Mr. Matthew, can you hear the people?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey! I'm fired up!
Boys.
I'm fired up! What up, though, brother?
Wake up, Woodward. Let's go. How you guys doing?
Doing good, brother.
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm jealous I'm not with you guys right now. You did an incredible job yesterday down at the Feldman Golf Outing. And these topics you're talking about, they really get the juices flowing. So I'm excited to call in and talk about it with you guys. What up, chat?
Hey,
they're going crazy for you. I see him in the chat. Crazy Clown, Mike G, Broder fans, Rising Star, Matthew Broder, and he's still crushing it. You guys are crushing it. You're crushing it with the Lions Weekly Update alongside Terry Foster and Sean Belegian. The numbers are fabulous, and it's good to see you still getting the support and still putting on Woodward Sports, man. It's awesome to see.
Yeah. Love you guys. It's family, and I love my Detroit sports. So any chance I can get to talk with you guys, talk Detroit sports, I'm in, and I'm pumped for these conversations because I think Sam Flannel has a really great point with the Jaire conversation. Like, he has his issues. He has his injury issues. He has, I don't know if it's character issues, but personality issues. Will he fit in the locker room? All of that. But the dude's an absolute stud, and for me, I don't think you can have too many cornerbacks in that room, too many good cornerbacks. I think you overload that room with as much talent as possible. It's one of those positions that just they get injured a lot. Like, dude, they have to guard the most talented, the most athletic athletes in the world running backwards. Like, put as many good guys in that room as possible. It's not like you're taking Terry Arnold's job completely away from him. We're talking about a 1-year deal. So I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't mind if it did. Just pack that room with talent.
Yeah, I think, Broder, the issue is with some people, and I'm not accusing anybody in the chat or anybody in this room, they do forget how good Jaire Alexander was even just a few years ago. Heck, he was good last year when he played. It's just, when he's hurt a lot, when you play Green Bay and Jaire Alexander isn't playing. I think sometimes in this case, absence doesn't make the heart grow fonder. It makes the heart think that said player is now a bum. That's never happened before.
Yeah, right. Like I'm just, no offense to our boy Kendall Vildor, who did some
Shout out
things
to my
here in
guy. He
Detroit,
found a
but
way to get another season, didn't he?
Exactly. He did his role, but I'm cool if now Rock Yassin takes that role, or Khalil Dorsey. Like we're trying to take another step up. That room, which is already really good in my opinion, I think adding Jaire for a year would only make it better, even if you only get 12, 13, 14 games out of him max. So overload that room. I'm a big Terrion Arnold fan. I think he's going to be a huge piece for this Lions team. And while I think he has so much room to improve, I also think he doesn't get enough credit for his importance last year for helping that Lions team go 15-2 when that defensive line was made up of LinkedIn employees, made up of Indeed guys found off Indeed.com. Like he did really well when they needed him. So there's my cornerback spiel.
But are you booting TA though after that spill? Is he now just the injury replacement, or is he still a vital member and a vital part and a vital contributor of this team? Because I'm for Jaire being there. I'm not for what it can do to the cap space, what it can do to their locker room culture, which I think it's robust to any one player being able to disrupt that though. But it is a factor, and what it could do to TA. I do. If you're talking about he is now just an injury replacement.
Yeah, no, I think TA is not only uniquely his personality is unique, where he'll take it personal from a competitor's standpoint, and it'll bring out the best in him. But he also is the type of Nick Saban Alabama player that understands they're going for a Super Bowl, and if you want an all-pro type cornerback when healthy in that room, maybe taking a couple snaps from him this upcoming year, he'll be okay with that, and I'll be okay with that. TA will be the future number one cornerback of this team. That's not going to change. But if we're talking about this year, bring the dude in.
I appreciate that.
I'm for bringing him in. I am absolutely against unseating TA.
Well,
I believe in his potential and what he can be this year.
People forget, too, because he didn't have to do it so much last year, but if you bring in Jaire Alexander, and like I don't think any of us think it's going to happen. It's just something that I brought up. TA could even maybe get some run at nickel. He did that more at Alabama than a lot of other corners from that draft class. So he could rotate with a Meek when that's needed. He could play some snaps if Jaire misses some games. DJ Reed, of course. TA would find his way on the field for at least 500 snaps. No doubt about it.
What I was responding to was your core statement of he's just an injury replacement, which was just ironic for a player who availability is one of his biggest question marks. That's the thing. For all the potential we want to see out of Jaire Alexander, we're banking on him being healthy, and we're banking on him being able to make that impact. I don't know who he's going to be in this year ahead. I understand the potential, but that's the same thing. Why are we taking our first round draft? Why are we saying, you know what? We don't really care about. We don't for this season. We're going to say, you know what? Whatever his potential could be, whatever his internal growth could be, whatever we believe he could be with this team, that much more healthy in front of him, we're just going to kind of put that on pause. Now, if you're talking about a rotation, if you're talking about TA is largely going to be able to be getting a good amount of snaps, because I don't want to see him necessarily being the guy that's taking the majority of the snaps and the majority of the man coverage. I don't necessarily want to see that. I'm hoping this thing could be more balanced. Then, yeah, I am for bringing in more depth. I don't think any of us, especially us three, are against depth. I think that's how our show started.
Hey, Coolidge. I think it affects Ennis Rakestraw more than it does Terrion Arnold. And I know the comparisons go around with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, and regardless of playing different defenses, what Terrion is really good at is playing at the line of scrimmage. He's a really willing and talented tackler, so he can play various spots. And with the way offenses are trending, there are at least 3 pass-catching weapons on most offenses, especially when we're talking about the 8 number 2s that the Green Bay Packers have, the Vikings, and the Bears with their fake wide receiver corps. So I think it affects Rakestraw more than Terrion Arnold. But to throw one last thing at you guys, and I'll let you guys wrap up. I don't want to steal your show. But in terms of players that have the most to prove, what about Taylor Decker? Taylor Decker, he's been able to be sort of hidden with that very talented offensive line as like the fourth best offensive lineman for the last few years. Now he's got to go into that number 2 role and really hold down the fort with 2 rookies possibly and a second-year player. I'll remind you, he's got a $23 million cap hit. So Taylor Decker, while I'm not trying to throw shade on him, he's been a good player for the Lions. I think he's as important as ever this season.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
And it's really hard because he's such a vet. You don't think of proving and being a vet like that, but all of a sudden we're all experiencing it as fans, and the Lions, I know they're experiencing it in Allen Park. The O-line, which was a beacon of just stability and greatness for the last few years, lost either its first or second most important member and somebody who was a Hall of Fame talent and a top 2 center in the league at worst. And that's going to affect everybody. So I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Taylor Decker's role is a little different now.
You know what? That's a great take. And I think I saw some others earlier in the chat as well mentioning Taylor Decker, especially when you talk about what the pedigree of this offensive line is going to be and just how much more of that leadership is going to be on him. And we know that Taylor Decker is one of those guys that can take a huge leadership role. I mean, he's one of the ones who, when Dan Campbell was talking about who was here when it was effectively trash, and it was Taylor Decker's just one of the few. So we know that he can take the burden, and I'm looking forward to what this offensive line is going to be, kind of following partly his lead, because they have several dogs in that offensive line, man, or proven dogs. I think that there are going to be several more. That may get there too. That's why I like that dude Justin, his selection of Tate and Mahogany.
Hey, thank you, Broder. We appreciate your call.
Thank
Always
you,
a
brother.
pleasure.
Have a great morning, boys.
Greg says
Shout out to
Broder
the
knows
chat.
ball.
Yes, he does.
Hey, we all know ball. We all have our own opinions, and it's just how we present them and have fun with them. So I appreciate you guys for taking my call. I hope to see you guys soon. Go Lions, go Tigers, go Pistons, and go Red Wings.
Let's rock. And go Broder. Hey, have a good day, brother.
Hey, you too, guys.
And I see just a few more people in the chat. Mark Royal, I love TA, but if you can get Alexander, you get him. I'm not sure TA is going to go to the bench, which I'm more okay with that. I am definitely. But I'm seeing some support here where people are saying this. What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? Big Z over JA. And I'm seeing that support. Tanner Cruz. Sign Anzo, sign Big Z, get the pressures, and TA will continue to grow.
That's not a bad. I'm not going to kill you for that opinion. If you'd rather have Zadarius Smith at cheaper than Jaire Alexander at more expensive, combined with an Alex Anzalone extension with Z being signed, I think Anzo's extension could happen regardless. But if you think that that's more important than Jaire, I'm not going to kill you for it. I'm trying to make it make sense. I'm trying to really show just how great and how effective that a Jaire Alexander can be, because I think people have forgotten. I don't blame you. I mean, he's been hurt a lot, but he's a great player.
You're right. And I see another one here. What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? Just comment on Broder's call. He said, nice call on Taylor Decker. He needs to have a big year opposite of Penei Sewell.
Nice. Chase, who else we got on the line?
We don't have any other callers currently at the moment. So.
Awesome. That's perfect. So what does that leave room for?
Sounds like what's trending with Mr. JB Smooth.
Anything to clean up just before that?
Urch and Caesars.
Let's rock then.
So yeah, I'll take over that. So
the JB extravaganza begins right now.
Head over to woodwardsports.com and click on that shop tab. We're dropping new designs for you every week. We even got a Frank Ragnow inspired shirt coming out very, very soon. But I got to tell you guys about these Woodward Tigers that you should be rocking this gear down at Comerica Park whenever you see the gritty Tigs on the screen as well too. And you can't forget about the Red Wings, LFG Red Wings t-shirts, hoodies still available for you right now. All you got to do is head over to woodwardsports.com and click on that shop tab. But you know what? I'm pretty sure that if you have a Lucky Woodward shirt, shirt, it will help you out with Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan the QR code on screen, use code word Woodward1000, deposit up to $1,000. But all you have to do is make a $20 deposit, and if it doesn't hit, they will throw it right back into your account with no questions asked. Hey, if you bet on the Oilers last night, guess what? It's right back into your account to double down once again. So head over to woodwardsports.com, or not woodwardsports.com, but Woodward 1000. Use that code word at Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
For sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
I threw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo. You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Do it better than that man, JB. Smooth. Let's rock.
Hey, what's going on, chat family? Fellas, what's going on once again? I'll hop right into these videos because I know we're a little bit short on time, but I got a shout out to the ladies over at Lady Jane's right now. I don't know if this new haircut is available for all stylists, but you can try and ask them. Maybe they can hook you up with it. But have you ever wanted that Minecraft ramen noodle 600?
What?
That's that Minecraft unwrapped ramen noodle 600 hairstyle for you right now.
Goodness
Oh, my
gracious.
goodness.
You know what? Shout out to your dedication. Shout out to your dedication. He's a fan of something, and he has pursued it to this magnitude.
If somehow I came home with that haircut, I would just be like,
on the couch
wifey,
sleeping?
you can divorce me and take me for everything I have. I don't even care. It would be like the equivalent of my wife just coming home with like a shaved head or something for no reason.
But
it would be
she
like,
could
no.
at least wear a wig and like become a new
Yeah.
person. You know what I mean? Then you kind of, it's like you're cheating, but you're not.
So question, which one of us would actually be willing to get this haircut?
Nobody.
No, none of us?
It's such a waste of money. As soon as you lay down, you're messing it all up. You gotta just
yeah.
hammer energy drinks and caffeine just for like 48 hours to make it worth it to go through that.
Yeah, he's got to be going to an event like right after this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you guys remember your celebration from when you graduated high school or college? Anybody?
I flashed open the diploma like it was the WWE title and just
nice.
wiggled it in front of my family.
Nice.
Anybody else?
I mean, no, I literally did the like Barry Sanders, just handed the ball to the referee, just took it and ran.
I didn't do anything special, man.
Shout out.
I didn't even
Justin,
go.
you were doing it right. Graduation was miserable.
Yeah, I went on my boat instead of COVID graduation. 100% worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Fred, you got some?
Yeah, I earned too many degrees, so I got like a hot and ready and a cake by the time I got my master's degree. So that was about all I got.
Hey,
shout out my parents.
Collected
Shout
degrees.
out.
I like it.
Shout
I
out.
feel you, by the way, just for the record.
I respect it. Well, hopefully, your celebration wasn't as bad as this one.
Whoa, and they took somebody else out?
The Pele kick.
I just got it was Barry Sanders-esque for me.
Oh, man.
Yo,
yeah. When that
you
happens,
see the teachers? They responded like, oh, dang. We just saw that in real time. They don't seem too worried to me.
Hit him with the Finn Balor.
That's wild, man.
Well, they're no longer their responsibility. So
Come on,
too,
they're
yeah.
no longer their responsibility.
That's fair.
I mean, I
They're like,
understand.
serves are right.
And
as soon as they got that diploma, it's like You're no longer.
Well, getting a high school. I mean, I get it. There's a lot about high school, a lot of BS that we all had to put up with. It's not fun, but overall, it's not hard to graduate high school. It's not worth a backflip. Actually, I don't know. I think some summer school should be on the on the docket for that.
Phil says
backflipper.
take her diploma back.
Hey,
Are you and
not
Phil?
No, I'm not taking her diploma
You and
back.
Phil are-
I'm talking about actually for now, and you got to take a little summer school. A little summer school. That's what it
So
should
you
be.
that's kind of like taking it back for a few months.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a former educator, I definitely see flannel as the perfect summer school teacher. What better way? Don't say anything bad about Riley Green. All right, write an essay about Riley Green and why he's awesome. 1,000 words. 1,000 words at least on why Riley Green is the
You
GOAT.
get a stat wrong by percentage point.
If I had that kind of power, oh my goodness, I would love to wield that. But Freddie, unfortunately, I've kind of lived that life as a former substitute teacher, and it was the worst job of my life, and I would never do it again. But if I had the power to give people Riley Green assignments, oh yeah.
How are y'all responding if you're the girl that gets kicked? That's so wild. You can't make a scene at your graduation, but I'm pissed off.
Throwing hands.
Like, man, this is like Freddie said.
I'm going out with a bang. You're going to remember me in the yearbook.
Like, she just messed up all of our family stuff, dog. I'll be so pissed.
Oh, yeah, I'm throwing hands.
Shoot.
Oh, man. And finally, I will end what's trending with this. I need your guys' help on this. Let me know, whose fault was this?
Willie B should be here.
No.
Whoa.
Wait, are they just playing around?
Oh.
Who's at fault here?
Workman's comp.
I don't know. What is this?
What just?
It's kind of the forklift driver, right?
Yeah.
Because he rear ends the dude. Or did the forklift not function?
Out here doing Tokyo Drift
wanna
in the
have
Home
goodwill.
Depot warehouse? Like, what is
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know who's at fault here because the guy in front of him just stops, but the other guy has his forks like up in the air at the same
And
time.
kind of
So
going
like,
fast too.
yeah.
Like, look at a swerve.
And right in the leg.
Hit him with the jello. Dude.
Whoa, like goodness. Look how he tries to run away from him too. He's like, bro, get away from me. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
you just stabbed him in the back of the leg.
Oh, man.
That is insane.
Like I said, I don't know who's at fault
I don't
here,
gotta.
but
I don't gotta ask Freddie. I already know his answer. But how are you responding if you're the one?
Whatever company
He's
that
throwing
is,
hands.
they're like, they sent out a company-wide email and like baked him a cake. Like they gave him a gift card to Subway for like $10. Or like,
You're throwing hands. at the
R.I.P.
baby.
Hank. Oh man. Oh, definitely on site, like with a bad leg.
I'm gonna take him $10 Subway gift card.
Subway gift
That's
card
definitely
for
part of
$20.
it. Here's
You're in our thoughts, Hank. Don't spend it all in one place. Can you even get a Subway sandwich for $10? Like, is that possible now?
No, it's like $10.99.
Jeez.
You were alive, Ryan. Were you even alive for $5 footballs?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That was our childhood, brother.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Hey, don't mention childhood and Subway at the same time in the same sentence.
Oh, yeah, that's
a little,
probably bad.
Oh,
too soon.
Yeah,
Too
that's
soon.
bad.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of relics from childhood past that did not
Yeah.
age well.
Yeah, but that's it for what's trending, you guys. Let's hop in some mailbag while we got some time left.
Continue to rot, Jared Fogle. Continue to rot.
I checked his receipt at Subway or at Best Buy when he was in for like a Subway convention. I checked he went to Best Buy. Shout out to the Best Buy on 38th Street in Indianapolis. This dude came up and I had to check his receipt. I was the loss prevention guy. Oh man, I got weird vibes then.
Probably.
But shout out the strawberry cheesecake or the raspberry cheesecake cookies at Subway. That's a secular sort of Subway shout out. That's the only thing I'll shout out at Subway. The raspberry cheesecake cookies. 3 for $1 back in the day.
Shout out.
Shout out, and I see what I'm doing with Detroit Gun. He says my childhood was 39-cent tacos at Taco Bell.
With all due respect, bro, how old are you? You're not that old, are you?
39 cents tacos at Taco Bell. I don't even remember.
You don't remember the $59.79.99 Taco Bell?
I remember that. 39 cents. I don't remember.
Man, that's those Maz prices.
Yeah.
War bonds.
Now all of a sudden they're like $10 for a Mexican pizza. Like, what the frick?
Yeah, right.
What are you talking about?
I'm getting a Tina's burrito for 39 cents. Shout out Tina's Burritos. We're doing all kinds of plugs today.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, man. I see A-Diz in the chat. They're wondering what you had to do to be in the studio. Hey, this man has been contributing beyond just even being a chat member, a supporter, a brother, gifts, merch, and things to support us at the different live events through the noise and such, man. But he's also done a lot to contribute. He's contributed as it relates to on-site, from a fan's perspective at many different games, and it's contributed greatly to our social media team. So shout out to Freddie Fowler. I know that dude, Justin, and Travis. We've all edited a lot of the content that he's brought to us, and I'm appreciative of it, man. I'm appreciative, especially with the perspective on socials that we're trying to have now. Shout out to you, Freddie, for being here, man.
No, shout out to you guys. Thank you for always treating me like family when I walk in. As soon as I walked up to the double doors, you guys threw your hands up, greeted me, treat me like family every time. So I'm glad to be. I don't know what am I like a third cousin of Woodward Sports?
You part of the family. You
Oh
part
yeah.
of the Wool crew.
No.
Yeah, second cousin maybe.
First cousin.
First cousin.
What up, cousin? What up, cousin?
Cuz. All right, what up, cuz?
You know how it is with your cousin. You don't see them every day, but you see them at like important events. That's you, Freddie. That's you.
Appreciate you.
But we got one super chat to clean up, and then we can probably wrap it up. This is from Rando Smalls. Thank you for getting yours in at the buzzer. We always appreciate that. Alexander is the shiny new toy, not the way to build a team. And honestly, I don't think there's any problem with this stage of the where the Lions are at the build, at the exit. I don't think a shiny new toy is a bad thing if it works. They don't need to been built.
And you know what? I thought that was a lot of healthy discussion today.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was a lot of TLB, a whole show of TLB.
Goodness
gracious, man. So I'm hoping that the chat family liked it. If you got an opportunity to smash that like button, then we definitely appreciate you. If you didn't, just for being here, thank you. If you get the opportunity to, go on ahead and smash that like button. It supports Wool Crew. It supports Woodward Sports. And ultimately, people like Freddie Felt and all the others that have been engaging all morning. Thank you guys, man, for what you do. It really, really, really drives us to do more. So thank you. Let's get this thing broken down. We'll start with that chest pass. Whew, it's been Wake Up Woodward, and we got us the intern Ryan in the building. Shout out to Freddie Felt being here too. Hey, any last words from you, brother, before we go around the room again?
Yes, sir. Again, thank you for always treating me like family. Thank you. Shout out to the chat, except like Steve O Baby, I'm Salty, a couple other jabronis that don't need to be mentioned. Pacers in 6, Oilers in 6.
Ooh. You want to get your community that championship.
Hey, shout out to the booger eaters too. They're like, I don't like small. Can you tell me who to like and what to like? Tell me everything. Tell me what food to eat, what sport team to root. Tell me everything I need to like. Shout out to those people that are like, small market. I want Lakers Celtics for 80 years in a row. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Travis.
Make the world go round.
If you want to say anything to the people. Hey, with the shuffle, man. I was like, we'll get the couch.
Shout out to the Woo Crew. Make sure you're paying attention on all Woodward Sports social medias, and go Oilers, man.
Go Oilers. Go Oilers.
Shout out to Spinny, just walked into the room. That dude, Justin, what up, though?
What up, though? Panthers are going to win. Sorry, guys. As much as I want to see McDavid would get a cup, I mean, that you saw how big of mental midgets the Oilers are last night in the third period. I don't think they have a chance. I think that this is going to be Panthers in 6, and they're going to wrap it up. And then make sure you tune to Heavyweights. I'll be hosting with Easy. We'll have a good time. Hope Spenny enjoys the Kendrick Lamar and SZA concert. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, no. After last night's game, I can't refute anything that Justin said about last night. Oilers in 7. Oilers in 7.
All right, slappies. Jesus. Holy, come on. Just blow McDavid a little harder.
I will.
God damn.
I will. I will. Conn Smythe number 2 coming.
Flano, can we get it? Can we get one of those?
McDavid. That's me this time. Yes.
Let's go.
Yes. The greatest athlete to never win a championship. Or him or Barry Bonds.
Top of the game, but I see you in the chat. Go Tigers indeed. Cavassier Chase, man, hold it down on sounds, back wall, phones, clips. What up, though, man?
We'll skip over the back wall for today. But we got the phones working. That's the most important for us. So shout out to you guys. Hope you guys had a good one. Tap in fast and loose. JB and I were down at MIS. We're keeping it fast, keeping it loose, having a good time. So got some extra content that is going to be in this episode and throughout the week on Fast and Loose Motorsports on Instagram. Go ahead and check that out. We have one video with I think over 5,000 views from the weekend already. So shout out to the JB, and shout out to Josh, Stephanie, everyone at MIS. Appreciate you guys hosting us, and we look forward to hopefully some new people tapping in and checking out what we were able to cover at NASCAR at MIS over the weekend.
Oh man, and you know what? Woodward Sports.
And they crushed. They crushed.
Hey, JB Smooth in the TD booth. The other half of Fast and Loose. What up, though, brother?
Hey,
great job to you guys.
It's been an amazing weekend and a Monday as well too with the Mark Wahlberg celebrity golf outing that we got invited to as well. But another episode of Fast and Loose will be out later on today. I know Chase is working on that, Harley working on that, man. And we got other content, so much content that we got over the weekend. It was great. An amazing time. Also got to record with KG last night, so Woodward Ringside will be out later on today. I just gotta cut it down a little bit. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we still got it done. We still got it made. KG is still around, everybody, so don't fear. But be on the lookout for that later on this afternoon as well.
Hey, shout out to KG as well as our other brother Matthew Boder, still kicking it with weekend content here and looking for any avenues to expand. But we got Flannel Sam here, the vet of the squad, the vet of the network, 1/3 of the Woodward Wings, fantastic trio, man. Y'all are crushing it. Shout out to you, man.
Hey, shout out to everybody in this room, and hey, go Tigers. Go to Baltimore. Beat them.
Freaking win. Just keep winning series.
Keep winning series.
It's your boy Brandon Dan, Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Hey, have a day. And you know what? We might have some content for you guys from the big three. Detroit Amps, man. They're going to have their own team. It's going to be dope. We're going to see if we can talk to ISO Joe, man. Joe Johnson. And you know what? With the event, just really quickly, yesterday it was dope, man. Shout out to Feldman for inviting us down and allowing us to be a part of, some small part of that event and getting the word out there about what they're doing. And I just wanted to be able to put the stats out there so you guys can understand the impact of people who like Jay Feldman said yesterday on the show. These people didn't have to be paid. Instead, they showed up to help on that day alone. Yeah, yesterday's they raised $1.3 million for Corewell Health Children's and Mark Wahlberg's Youth Foundation. And since 2021, they've raised more than $6.4 million, man. So after today, that brings a new total to 7.7. The auction that they had, over $300,000, man. So shout out to Detroit for putting on. Because a lot of the golfers who are part of this, and there's a lot of celebrities, they go from town to town to town, state to state to state. They said that event is one of their most favorite ones. And to see the impact that it's having right here in our local community, over 200,000 families, not people. I made a mistake yesterday and said people. Over 200,000 families have been impacted by this. So shout out to the 245 golfers that showed up, bro. Shout out, man.
Shout out to all of them.
It was dope, man. I can't wait. I know we got more golf events, but that one, it's always epic time out there. So
it's great. Fantastic. Shout out Mark Wahlberg, too.
Hey, shout out to Mark Wahlberg. Hey, it's been a show. Wake up, Woodward. Hit that like button on the way out. Have a blessed one, you guys.